Good evening and welcome to Sabha TV. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra and you're watching News Tonight, where we bring you news updates from India and around the world. A look now at the latest COVID-19 situation in the country. For the second day in a row, India reported over 75,000 new cases on Friday. Total cases are now nearing 34 lakh. Deaths have crossed 61,000. The recovery rate is 76.28%. India has reported the highest single-day caseload in the world every day since 7th August and is the third most affected country behind only the United States and Brazil.
Over 1,057 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total death toll due to the novel coronavirus across India to 61,529. Active cases now number over 7.42 lakh, while recoveries are over 25.83 lakh, exceeding active cases by over 18 lakh. The recovery rate is 76.28%, while the COVID-19 case fatality rate is 1.82%. Overall, 5 states with the biggest 24-hour jump in total cases are Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. These states also reported the highest deaths in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra had 355 new deaths on Friday. In other states, Delhi recorded 1,840 new cases on Thursday, the highest after 48 days. For the past 3 days, new cases crossed the 1,500 mark in Delhi. Cases in Assam are nearing 1 lakh after over 2,000 new cases pushed total infections to 98,800. The state's coronavirus deaths climbed to 278, while over 79,000 people recovered. The highest single-day spike of 3,682 cases pushed Odisha's COVID-19 tally to 94,668, while 456 people died so far. Tripura registered its highest single-day spike of 509 COVID-19 cases on Friday, which pushed the tally to 10,436. 89 people died. Members of the Great Andamanese tribe, that has a population of only over 50 members, were struck by COVID-19, with 10 of its members testing positive for the virus. 6 have recovered while the rest are undergoing treatment. The islands have close to 3,000 cases, of them 2,300 have recovered. 41 people have died. Testing in India is nearing 4 crore. In the last 2 weeks, 1 crore samples were tested. India tested more than 9 lakh samples for the second day in a row on Thursday. Tests per million increased to 28,607. From a 48.19% recovery rate in May, the recovery rate has now improved to over 76%, with some states reporting recovery rates higher than the national average. According to the Union Health Ministry, Delhi has a recovery rate of 90%, followed by Tamil Nadu with 85%. Bihar has a recovery rate of 83.8%. Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli 82.6% and Haryana 82.1%. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Amid rising coronavirus cases worldwide, the World Health Organization has said that unsafe gatherings are triggering a resurgence of transmission.
The agency has asserted the need to hold public events safely.
Every country and community must make its own decisions about how to host these events safely, based on their own level of risk. In some circumstances, closures or suspending events may be necessary for a short time. In others, there are creative ways events can be held safely to minimize risk.
Global COVID-19 cases have surpassed 24.6 million, with the death toll exceeding 8.36 lakh. COVID-19 cases in the United States surpassed 6.04 million on Friday. With over 1.84 lakh deaths, the US accounts for 20% of the global death toll. Latin America's COVID-19 cases surpassed 7 million on Friday. Brazil has the most cases in the region with over 3.76 million cases. Peru comes next with over 6.2 lakh cases. Colombia has eased coronavirus restrictions in the capital, Bogota, after reporting a drop in cases. Under the initial phase of reopening, businesses are allowed to operate at 60% capacity, while churches are allowed to hold services with limited capacity. The British government says it is safe for people to return to offices despite a surge in cases. Spain is preparing to reopen schools from September 1st with rules like social distancing, compulsory masks, and reduced class sizes. France is also reopening schools with mandatory masks for adults and students aged 11 and above from September. Meanwhile, the French government has allocated 15 billion euros for post-coronavirus recovery aid to boost innovation and industrial relocation. As schools prepare to reopen in Europe, the World Health Organization has cautioned against the risk of spillovers to the vulnerable group.
The younger people indeed are not necessarily going to die from it, but it's a tornado with a long tail and it's a multi-organ disease. So the virus is really attacking lungs, but also heart and other organs. And at one stage, younger people, particularly with the winter coming, will be in more close contact with the elder population.
Meanwhile, infections continue to decline in Australia's Victoria state. On Friday, it reported 113 new cases, while New South Wales reported 13 cases. The country now has nearly 25,500 infections and 584 deaths. South Korea has imposed tighter coronavirus restrictions in Seoul after reporting 371 new COVID-19 cases on Friday. From August 30th, cafes will only provide takeaways, while gyms and indoor sporting facilities will remain closed.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday said vaccine Sputnik V produced by his country offers stable immune resistance against the coronavirus.
He also said that his daughter, who was vaccinated, is doing well.
Мы привели к тому, что нам удалось пройти пик, я надеюсь, что нам удалось пройти пик вспышки заболевания и создать необходимые условия для дальнейшей работы.
Putin also added that a second Russian vaccine is likely to be released in September. In another development, Johnson & Johnson will start mid-stage trials for its coronavirus vaccine in Spain, the Netherlands and Germany next week. The Phase 2 trial will include 550 participants across 3 countries and last for 2 months. The company is also carrying out tests in the United States and Belgium. More than 150 potential vaccines are being developed globally, with 30 in human trials.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs set a new record on Thursday by meeting for 4 hours and 45 minutes without a break. The committee discussed various aspects of the COVID-19 pandemic and how Delhi had handled it. Here are the details.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs, serviced by the Rajya Sabha, met for 4 hours and 45 minutes without a break. Veterans of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat called it the longest break-free meeting yet. The committee, chaired by Rajya Sabha MP Anand Sharma, set another record by holding 2 successive meetings of more than 4 hours duration each. Its previous meeting on the pandemic also lasted 4 hours and 12 minutes. The first meeting during the intersession period was 3 hours and 14 minutes long, taking the total meeting time to 12 hours 11 minutes to discuss the pandemic with various stakeholders. In Thursday's meeting, Chief Secretary of the Government of NCT of Delhi, Vijay Kumar Dev, gave a detailed presentation on how the pandemic was handled in the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Home Ministry Additional Secretary Govind Mohan also took part in the meet. In earlier meetings, Union Secretaries of Home Affairs and MSMEs, senior officials of the Union Health Ministry, Director General of ICMR, Director of AIIMS Delhi, and representatives of MSME organizations appeared as witnesses. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan on Friday inaugurated the In Conversation with series for Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020 and also launched the STIP 2020 campaign page through video conferencing.
In the context of India's 5th National Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, STIP 2020, the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor and the Department of Science and Technology has initiated a decentralized, bottom-up and inclusive process for the formulation of a new STIP 2020. To make the policy true to its essence, DST has initiated in conversation with a series of exclusive interactions with thought leaders from across the country to share their ideas and vision for the policy and the nation's science, technology and innovation ecosystem at large. The first conversation was held between the Union Health Minister and the Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology, Professor Ashutosh Sharma. The Health Minister said that India is third in the world in terms of the number of science publications, PhDs and nanotechnology. He added that Indian scientists are not inferior to anyone in any sense. In a number of fields, we are performing probably much better than the rest of the world.
It was not only my COVID warriors like doctors and nurses and the health staff in the hospitals or the sanitation and the security staff working there. It was the backing of the scientists in various fields, whether it was biotechnologists or the ICMR scientists isolating the virus, doing the genome sequencing of the virus. I think they did it for more than 1,000 viruses, developing the new vaccines, developing the new kits, developing the new ELISA test, developing a new ventilator in the science laboratory. So many things have happened. I have to thank the scientific community.
Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank on Friday launched Praband for increasing transparency and accuracy of Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme, a central government scheme for school education.
Praband stands for Project Appraisal, Budgeting Achievements and Data Handling System. The Education Minister called Praband a significant step towards leveraging technology to enhance efficiency and manage the implementation of the centrally sponsored integrated scheme for school education. Some of the important features of Praband system include online submissions of annual plans and budgets at district and state levels, tracking of funds and their release to the states. Nishank also reviewed the integrated scheme for school education or Samagra Shiksha.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Friday advocated for being vocal for local. He said the true global challenges are phenomena like terrorism, pandemics and climate change. He said these are issues that will really test the seriousness of multilateralism.
Addressing the Darbari Seth Memorial Lecture organized by the Energy and Resources Institute in Delhi via video conferencing, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said India has the capacity to utilize local talent and become vocal for local. He said the Prime Minister's vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat is a step to ensure employment and contribution in global world.
Strengthening our skill sets and creating a better enabling environment are obviously the basis for a larger national capacity. And that is precisely what is the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. We need to be more self-generating and self-sustaining, drawing on greater national confidence and stronger societal commitment. Like the rest of the world, India too has been severely tested by the COVID-19 pandemic. But there is confidence in our ability to transform the challenge into opportunity. Our external ones too must ensure in parallel a level playing field for our own producers.
The External Affairs Minister said that terrorism is a major problem in the world. He called upon the international community to create necessary mechanisms to shut down structures that support and enable terrorism. Addressing the lecture, UN Chief Antonio Guterres renewed his call to India and other G20 countries to invest in a clean and sustainable transition as they recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. He also expressed deep concern over the continued support for polluting fossil fuels by nations across the world. This is Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna completed 6 years on Friday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the scheme in his Independence Day speech in 2014. The scheme was launched on 28 August the same year. More details in this report.
Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna, the world's largest financial inclusion initiative to empower the poor, completed 6 years on Friday. Expressing happiness over the milestone, Prime Minister Narendra Modi applauded on Twitter those who worked tirelessly to make the scheme a success. He said the Game Changer scheme served as the foundation for many poverty alleviation initiatives benefiting crores of people. Sharing infographics about the scheme, Prime Minister Modi said, the future of several families has been secured by the Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna. He added that many of the beneficiaries are women from rural areas. Since its launch, more than 40 crore 35 lakh people have benefited from the Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna. Of them, 22 crore 27 lakh are women who joined the formal banking system through the scheme. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman hailed the Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna as the foundation stone for the Modi government's people-centric initiatives. She said, be they direct benefit transfers, COVID-19 financial assistance, PM Kisan, increased wages under Manrega, life and health insurance cover, the first step was to provide every adult with a bank account, which Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna has nearly completed. Launched in 2014, Pradhanmantri Janthan Yojna has an integrated approach to bring comprehensive financial inclusion and provide banking services to all households. The scheme ensures access to a range of financial services like availability of basic savings bank accounts, access to need-based credit, remittances facility, insurance and pension. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Final year university examinations must be held this year. The Supreme Court has ruled.
The top court pronounced the judgment on the pleas challenging the decision of UGC, asking universities and colleges to conduct final year exams by 30th of September. The top court asserted that states cannot promote students without final year examinations and students must take the exams. The states, however, can postpone the exams, but they cannot be cancelled. The court said states can approach UGC and ask for dates to be deferred beyond 30th of September if they wanted to because of the coronavirus crisis. Several petitions had called for the exams to be cancelled because of COVID-19 and argued a cumulative grade point average could be the basis for declaring results without conducting final examinations. But the Supreme Court ruled that internal assessments will not suffice. The UGC had said that final year college exams must be held by 30th of September, adding that exams are a must to protect the academic future of the students and was for the benefit of the students as the universities have started to start admissions to postgraduate courses. Justices Ashok Bhushan, S. Subhash Reddy and M. R. Shah delivered the ruling through video conferencing.
52 members of the Punjab Assembly attended the day-long monsoon session amid the COVID-19 pandemic on Friday.
Assembly proceedings started with obituary references by Speaker Rana KP Singh. Tributes were paid to 28 personalities, including the Galwan Bravehearts and former Member of Parliament Gurdas Singh Badal. The Assembly was convened amid the pandemic to fulfill the constitutional obligation of meeting within 6 months of the last session. The question hour and calling attention were dropped in view of the impact of COVID-19 on proceedings of the House as decided in the meeting of Business Advisory Committee. The important papers were, however, tabled in the House. Shiromani Akali Dal MLA's members skipped the proceedings due to the COVID-19 protocol after 30 state MLAs tested positive. Aam Aadmi Party legislators, however, chose to attend the session in personal protective equipment gear. Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amarinder Singh moved a resolution against the centre's farm ordinances in the absence of BJP ally Shiromani Akali Dal.
The Assam government extended the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 for 6 more months.
The extension becomes effective from Friday. The state has been declared a disturbed area after the recent insurgent attacks on security forces in the northeast and the recovery of illegal arms and ammunition from various parts of Assam. The Armed Forces Special Powers Act empowers security forces to conduct operations in disturbed areas. It has been in force in the state since November 1990. The act is renewed every 6 months.
Heavy rainfall has led to flood-like situation in parts of Odisha. In Jammu, 19 people were saved from drowning as major rivers are in spate due to incessant rainfall.
Parts of Delhi received rain and the water level in the Yamuna, which is flowing near the danger mark, rose slightly. The Meteorological Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall over north and central India in the next 4 days. In Madhya Pradesh, the IMD issued a red alert for 4 districts and orange alert for 12 districts. Heavy rainfall is also expected over sub-Himalayan West Bengal, Sikkim, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Karaikal, Kerala and Mahi. In Assam, a central team has begun their field visit to assess the damage caused by floods. This team of 6 is divided into 3 groups and are visiting 7 flood-hit districts. In Odisha, several major rivers continue to flow above the danger mark, inundating low-lying areas and paddy fields in several districts. Heavy showers also wreaked havoc in West Bengal as low-lying areas in Kolkata and the coastal districts of the state have been inundated.
The Bureau of Police Research and Development celebrated its Golden Jubilee anniversary on Friday.
Extending his greetings, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "Over the last 50 years, BPRND has been unwavering in its commitment in the service of the nation," adding that our emphasis is on a modern, effective and sensitive security architecture that inspires a sense of safety among all sections of the society. Home Minister Amit Shah also congratulated BPRND on its Golden Jubilee anniversary. He said BPRND has played a vital role in strengthening India's internal security through research and development. Union Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy addressed a virtual event to mark the occasion. He said new thinking and emerging technologies and making police forces capable is an important aspect of a new and Atmanirbhar Bharat. The minister also inaugurated the Central Detective Training Institute, Jaipur, and launched a website of student police cadets. A postal stamp, souvenir, and compendium were also released.
US President Donald Trump accepted Republican Party's renomination on Thursday night, ahead of November 3rd election.
Trump spoke at an event staged at the White House, the first time a president has ever held a party convention at the executive mansion. In his acceptance speech, Trump tore into his election challenger Joe Biden as a threat to the American dream. He defended his handling of the coronavirus pandemic and pledged to lead the nation out of the economic slump.
And this election will decide whether we will defend the American way of life or whether we will allow a radical movement to completely dismantle and destroy it. That won't happen.
After his 70-minute speech, fireworks exploded over the mall, some of the blasts bearing the president's name. Trump's speech capped a 4-day quasi-virtual Republican National Convention. Whereas Democrats orchestrated an entirely virtual convention, the Republican convention was a hybrid between a virtual program and a traditional convention in a packed arena. The marquee Republican speeches were staged before live audiences. Trump's crowd on Thursday was the largest of the week, with an estimated 1,500 people in the South Lawn. Trump's elder daughter and senior White House advisor Ivanka introduced her father. She dubbed Trump the people's president and gave a full-throated endorsement of his accomplishments and praised him as a bipartisan deal maker trying to heal the nation. Thursday's other lineup of speakers included top Republicans in Congress, Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy.
Hurricane Laura made landfall in America's Louisiana state on Thursday, leaving a trail of devastation.
6 people have been killed by the Category 4 hurricane that made landfall near Cameron in Louisiana overnight on Thursday, flattening buildings and uprooting trees. One of the most powerful storms to have ever hit the United States, Hurricane Laura brought with it catastrophic storm surge, extreme winds of up to 150 miles per hour, and flash flooding. It also left over 1 million people in Louisiana and Texas without power supply. In Lake Charles, commercial buildings were peeled apart, billboards were punched out, and trees snapped in half. By mid-Thursday, the hurricane weakened to a tropical storm as it moved north over Louisiana. It continued to lash Arkansas with damaging winds and flooding.
And with this, it's a wrap on this Bulletin of News tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.